This special called meeting of the Germantown Board of Education is called to order. As we are called to order, I remind you that the reason that we are meeting virtually is because of the mayor's order to shelter at home and the COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore the safest way to meet is via Google Hangout, and therefore this meeting is virtual. The purpose of this meeting is to approve a new HR policy 5.101, which is a temporary COVID-19 personnel plan. And so as we look at that plan, Mr. Manuel, are you going to speak to it?
Yes. So as you know, we are in unprecedented times, I think is a common word that has been used as far as how schools are expected to operate and what's happening in our society across the board. We have two recommendations that really came from TSBA. We have modified it to meet our needs, but know that they have recommended two policies. We're only going to be addressing one today. The one that you see today was based on guidance from the comptroller, and they said for audit purposes, and know that our district does use Watkins overall because that's who the city uses for audit purposes. But a lot of districts across the state use the comptroller to perform their school audits. And so they have recommended for those districts that they have a personnel plan in place similar to this that explains and allows the superintendent and district administration to provide different job opportunities and requirements for individuals. So that being said, we have crafted a policy that you see before you that really tries to, and it's not going to be all encompassing, but it allows us to provide different roles and responsibilities during this period of time where we are going to be providing instructional resources for our families at home. At our April 20th meeting, we will be bringing another policy that is also going to be recommended, and I'm sure I have the acronym wrong. It's the FCC RLA requirement, and it's similar to FMLA, what we have seen, and it's the ability for individuals who are taking care of family members who are sick or siblings or children that they can have time off because of this COVID crisis. So that one will be coming in April. So before you today is the personnel plan policy. If anyone has any questions, Ms. Stratton is on this call, and she can also help us answer some of these questions.
Thank you, Mr. Manuel. The chair would entertain a motion.
I move to waive the second reading and adopt the new HR Policy 5.101 Temporary COVID-19 Personnel Plan after one reading.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Oath and seconded by Ms. Landers. Is there any discussion?
I just have a question as to accountability. I know these are odd times, but how are we holding accountable employees from home? I guess that's a question for Ms. Stratton.
So, and I'll also echo some of this. We'll give you some updates too, is hopefully you had a chance to look through the documents we provide you about all the work, incredible work that's happening in the district with pictures of what people are doing. We also have plans that are revolving around our classified staff. So if they're not directly involved in that instruction, our HR department has been really involved with providing them professional development opportunities online. We've also reached out to those individuals who didn't have devices and provided them for those staff who don't have those devices. So the HR department's going to have an update for you. As far as instructional staff, know that we are having weekly Google Hangouts with our principals and administration. They are doing the same thing with their teachers and their staff. Know that a lot of departments are having more meetings than that, depending on their scope of work. So it's really, filtered on down just as it normally would be with all those individuals. Ms. Stratton, if you want to talk briefly about what y'all have done with our classified staff?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Our plans for our classified staff, first we have met with all of our assistant principals at each school, and we also have district office leads that are specifically assigned to specific classified staff groups. So we have our assistant principals are taking care of our general education assistants, our SPED educational assistants. We have district office leads that are working with our financial secretaries, our SPED clericals. Every group has someone that is going to be their specific contact person that is going to help them manage their workload and check in on them on a weekly basis. We also have coordinated Google Hangout meetings, just like our teachers are doing. We have those with our individual classified staff groups as well, just to check in. We are launching next week 2 online professional development opportunities for our classified staff. The first training is going to focus specifically on school customer service. And it's an online training where the classified staff members are going to have to log in to a program online, and they take specific courses that are focusing on customer service. And then they have to complete quizzes at the end of each course. We have the ability to track the progress of all of our classified staff members. At the end of each week, our assistant principals, again, are going to meet with those groups to have a customer service PLC meeting where they get to talk about the sessions that they're learning on and debrief. Then we're going to, the classified staff members are going to transition to their second online professional development training, which has to do with behavior management. And it's a similar program. They have to watch a module. They have to take an end of course test and make a minimum score. And then we're going to have a PLC each weekly to hold everyone accountable. If for some reason a classified staff member is having trouble completing the online trainings, we do have alternative work assignments that focus on the same types of professional development that they would be able to receive online. So that's our plan for right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then also too, as y'all are aware, hopefully, that you saw, we are actively completing those annual IEPs and initial IEPs for individuals that consent to doing it virtually. Know that our staff, both classified and certificated, are having to prepare the levels of, the PLOPs, present levels of performance. They're also having to compile information, make copies, scan those, send those to parents, or physically send those. So know that a lot of them are working diligently. And the operations department, we still have plant managers and individuals that are reporting to schools, make sure everything is safe there. We do have maintenance that is ongoing in our schools. So we have a lot of staff that are still performing their normal scope of work in the building, and the principals of those schools and also operations department are supervising those individuals.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Everybody would love to assume that all of our teachers are excited about offering virtual education online and are getting on every day and communicating with their students. I know that teacher evaluations are very much up in the air at this point. How will we hold our primary staff responsible if they are not complying with the pieces of this job description that we are considering?
So one of the things that you saw in the legislation is individuals do have the opportunity to opt out of this, and that'll be in the policy too that we discussed at the 20th meeting. I think the policy said that they can take 2/3 of their salary and also take time off and say that they can't complete this expected workload. So they do have the option to opt out.
At 2/3 salary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One question is, can you also track which teachers are getting online with their students through Schoology?
Yes, ma'am. So we can go in and see every communication that is sent through this platform. We can see the assignments that are sent. So yes, that's one of the things that they can do at the school level and also at the district level.
So will principals and assistant principals be responsible for tracking that?
Yes, and also the teaching and learning department is helping track those. Mr. Pierce also has let me know that there's also a master log of the Google Hangouts that we can track too, so we can see what the teachers are doing.
Okay. Yeah, I know initially there were some overlaps of some of the Hangouts, and they had to do some scheduling, I think, on the high school level to make sure people weren't overlapping their classes and scheduling Hangouts at the same time. So I know that's also been going on.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue. There, it's really hard to avoid some of these conflicts because we do have
so
the
many
teachers
classes
themselves, like Ms. Luter said. Yeah, we have kids taking multiple classes with multiple teachers. We have the teachers and employees themselves that are dealing with childcare and dealing with these issues. That's why we're trying to be flexible around the times and requirements that we're setting.
I want to say for the teachers who are listening or who may view this, the Google Hangouts have been incredibly valuable for the students. And at my house, and I know at friends' houses, it really is appreciated. Even if you feel like, I'm not sure I did a lot of educating, you really are making a difference for these children. And that their emotional well-being is so important right now, that even if you think, I don't know how to conduct a PE class or how to teach what I want to teach and what I normally teach over the internet, it's so important just to get on with them and touch base with them. So thank you to the teachers who have.
Agreed.
I'd like to further that as somebody who has experience so far in the elementary and the middle school level with the Hangouts, class-wise, multiple teachers. Just like any inside instructional time, everybody is different and unique in their style. And we've seen that even in the Hangouts. But back to the social, emotional effects and impacts that those get-togethers have had on our students, I've seen it firsthand, and I've heard it from so many people in our community, again, how, as Chairman Luter said, how valuable they are. Talking about what they're learning online, but also just talking about each other, checking on each other. And that has been one of the most wonderful things that our family has experienced throughout some of this, not learning at the school, but being at home. So I'm really grateful personally, not only as a school board member, but also as a parent and community member for that ongoing ability to communicate with the families and the students.
And I would like to also echo what I've seen from as a parent, and then also how hard the staff is working. I had the privilege of getting to go out and deliver some devices to families, and I know that Ms. Price's department has worked really hard to put together package 2 with supplemental reading supplies for families that didn't have internet access, and we're providing devices, home delivery for those families that needed devices, and we know that's going to continue. So know that everybody's working hard, and we're thankful for everybody really being flexible during this time.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Subramani, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Landers?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Ms. Oaf?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Chairman Luter?
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion passes. That concludes the business for which this meeting was called. I want to thank especially Ms. Caitlin Elam for being on the call with us in the absence of our attorney, our board attorney, Ms. Cheryl Estes, and express our sympathy to Ms. Estes as well.
Thank you for having me.
With her husband.
I will pass that on to Ms. Estes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We stand adjourned.